Hello guys, so today is our 10th web project in our web program sessions, and for today our requirement is to make a payment portal and purchase an item from our e-commerce web application, and the design is like this. And in our previous projects I have explained on how to obtain this design and the codings for that particular design as well. So for today, let's straight jump to our payment portal, which is today's requirement of our project. So for the payment portal, I have got Pay Here payment portal like this, and the sandbox version of it to test if the payment is working or not. So for testing purposes, I have used this price as there's a limit on how much we can exchange in a month. So if I were to purchase a product like this, I will be redirected to the login PHP, as I need to log into this e-commerce web application to make a purchase first. If you are not signed up as a user already, you can sign up from here like this. And we have talked about how this sign up page works with the codings in our previous projects as well. So for login, I have used the same validations I had given before. And here you can see I have got my name here and my profile pic as well, which I uploaded in the sign up process for this web application. And now we can make a purchase. So for today, I'm using this product to make the purchase. You can click any buy button to get this payment portal which corresponds to that particular item. And I am going to purchase this item. So we have this payment methods, and I'm using Visa card method. And for testing purposes, the Pay Here portal gives us a credit card number which is recognized by them as this is testing environment portal. So we need to give the exact number for the account, which means the card number. So I'll just make the payment name like this. And I'll pay 100 first. So you can see the payment is approved. And here I will be redirected to the page I was before making the payment. And you can see the quantity has reduced by 1. So if we make another purchase, you can see the product I chose has 30 as the quantity. And if I pay and the payment was success, and you can see the quantity is reduced by 1. So now let's check how our payments went on. And this is the previous payment I made. And you can see the customer name, payment method, delivery details, and other details required for this payment. And the order ID is here like this. And for this last payment, it's like this. Yes, it's responsive. And now let's straight jump to our codes to see how I got this payment portal to be working like this. And this is our page which has the products. And I have used some sessions here which I got the details of the user who signed in from the login process. Like here, you can see I have given the user details to the session and fetched it here from like this and assigned the path of the image for the profile picture and the username like this. So for this design, I have used Semantic UI, UIKit, and Bootstrap frameworks and some of my own style codes. So I have given the profile picture like this and the username here like this. Going straight to our products, we can see I have called a DBMS function here, and you can see I have got a for loop to show the products here. And for this, you can see I have used some data I fetched from the database as well. And for this buy button, I have this card purchase function here which have the product ID as the parameter. And this is all for our index PHP codes. And for the design, I have discussed it in our previous project, so I won't go into detail today about the design. So let's check how our buy button function is working. So for this card purchase function with that parameter, we have it like this. And I have used Ajax here to send the details to the server and get the response to my page. And here you can see there are some text with 2 and 3 with if functions. And let's see what are they. So for this request with the Ajax is sent to this buy now process PHP. So here, if there's no session is set for the session user, the request will send the response as 2, which means that user will be redirected to the login page. And if the parameter we send in this function doesn't match with an item in our database, the response will send 3. And you can see if the response matches with 3 in our function, an alert will pop up saying invalid product. So After all that, if the product is there, in this buy now process PHP, we have fetched that product data to an associative array and assign the required details like this. And we have got some user details as well from the session global variable as well, which is an associative array. And you can see here, I have assigned all those variables to the names and gave those variables as values and stated all these names and values in the JSON format. So I send the J variable as the response, and you can see here I have got that response here to this JSON array. And from now on, this whole code is given by the Pay Here portal document. And from it, you can see if the payment is completed, the user will be redirected to the index PHP, which means our main page. So in here, if the payment is dismissed, the payment pop-up is dismissed, alert comes up. And if there's an error, alert will come out telling invalid details. And here we have the parameters we are sending to the Pay Here server. And we have used the JSON format for this names and values as well. And here you can see I have got this order ID, items, amount, first name, last name, email and phone from our buy now process PHP JSON code. For the order ID, I have used a variable order ID here and got a unique ID for this order ID. And I have sent the product ID in the custom field to Pay Here portal server. After all that, the Pay Here portal will be executed with this line. When the payment is all done, the Pay Here server will send a request to us for this notify PHP file, which we are going to give in this notify URL. And for this notify PHP, when the request comes, we send the file with this data, which contains the merchant ID, order ID, and the amount from the Pay Here, and the currency from the Pay Here, the status code which Pay Here sends to us, and some other details like this. And the product ID we have sent to the Pay Here server in the custom one field. So all these post parameters are caught here with variables, and you can see if the status is 2, which means the payment is success, we can run a database code to update the product details in our database, which means we can reduce the product count we have in our database. Like the way you saw in my web application, when I purchased that particular item, the quantity of that item was reduced when the payment was successed. So for this code, you can see here that I have given this database connection, and you can see I have selected the quantity using the product ID I got from the Pay Here portal, and you can see I've got them into an associative array and use that array to get the quantity and reduce one from that quantity. As for the code I have now is only for purchasing one product at a time, and I have set an update code here to update that particular item to this new quantity. And for this Notify PHP to work, we need to host our web application, which means we can't run this file in our server. To see how this database code is working, though the payment portal works in our own server. So as you can see here, I have hosted my website here, so that's why I can do all that database queries and payments smoothly. When you hosted this application, you just need to change this Notify URL with the hosted URL of Notify PHP, and with the end of this PHP, the payment portal process is concluded. So for today's requirement is all that, and let's take a quick look on how this works again. Quantity is 29. I'm going to purchase the item. The relevant card names for each payment is given in the Pay Here Sandbox documents, and you can get those details from there and do the payment to check this payment portal environment. And you can see the quantity is reduced. So that's all for today's project. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.